Welcome, dear viewers, to a profound discussion on a promise made by God. A promise that brings comfort, hope, and assurance to those who are suffering. In the tumult of life's trials and tribulations, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by pain and sorrow. But today, we delve into the reassuring words of God that declare, "You will not cry tears of pain and sorrow again." Let's explore the depth of this promise and understand its significance in our lives. Before we delve into the promise, it's essential to comprehend the nature of pain and sorrow. Pain comes in many forms. It could be physical, emotional, or spiritual sorrow. On the other hand, encompasses feelings of grief, sadness, and despair. These experiences are part of the human condition, but they can often feel unbearable. The promise that we will not cry tears of pain and sorrow again originates from the very heart of God. Throughout religious texts and spiritual teachings, God is portrayed as compassionate and merciful. He sees the struggles of His people and offers them solace and comfort in their times of need. In the Bible, we find numerous references to God's promise of wiping away tears. One such verse is found in Revelation 21:4, where it states, "He will wipe every tear from their eyes." There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away. This verse encapsulates the essence of God's promise. He offers a future free from sorrow and suffering. Central to the promise of no more tears is God's unconditional love for His creation. Despite our flaws and shortcomings, God's love remains constant and unwavering. He longs to alleviate our pain and bring us into a state of eternal joy and peace. For those who are currently experiencing pain and sorrow, the promise of no more tears offers a beacon of hope. It serves as a reminder that our present struggles are temporary and that a brighter future awaits us. Even in the darkest of times, we can find solace in the knowledge that God is with us, comforting us, and guiding us through our trials. To fully embrace the promise of no more tears, we must cultivate faith in God's Word. Faith is not merely believing in something unseen. It is trusting in God's character and His promises. As we deepen our faith, we can experience the transformative power of God's love in our lives. While we may not yet fully realize the promise of no more tears in this earthly life, we can live in anticipation of the fulfillment of God's Word. Each day brings us closer to the day when all pain and sorrow will be eradicated, and we will experience the fullness of God's eternal joy. Prayer and worship play crucial roles in experiencing God's promise of no more tears. Through prayer, we can pour out our hearts to God, seeking His comfort and guidance in times of distress. Worship allows us to focus our attention on God's goodness and faithfulness, reminding us of His promises and filling us with hope. In moments of doubt and despair, it's natural to question whether God's promise of no more tears will ever be fulfilled. However, we must remember that God is faithful to His word, and His promises are sure. By clinging to His promises and seeking His presence, we can overcome doubt and find renewed strength to persevere. As recipients of God's promise, we are called to share this message of hope with others. In a world plagued by suffering and despair, the assurance of no more tears serves as a light of hope for all who are hurting. Through our words and actions, we can offer comfort and encouragement to those in need, pointing them towards the unending love and grace of God. God's promise that we will not cry tears of pain and sorrow again is a testament to His boundless love and mercy. It is a promise that brings hope to the hopeless and comfort to the grieving. As we navigate life's challenges, may we hold fast to this promise, knowing that God is faithful to fulfill His word. While God promises to wipe away our tears, it's essential to recognize that suffering has a purpose in our lives. In the midst of our pain and sorrow, we may not always understand why we are experiencing certain trials. However, through faith and trust in God, we can find meaning in our suffering. It is often through our darkest moments that we experience the greatest growth and transformation. Suffering can deepen our empathy, strengthen our character, and draw us closer to God. As we endure trials, we can take comfort in knowing that God is with us, using our pain for His greater purpose. God's promise of no more tears does not necessarily mean an immediate end to our suffering. Instead, it assures us that there will come a time when all pain and sorrow will be wiped away. However, the timing of this fulfillment is ultimately in God's hands. As we wait for His promise to be realized, we must trust in His perfect timing. God's timing is often different from our own, but it is always perfect. In our waiting, may we find strength and patience, knowing that God is working all things together for our good. Perseverance is a hallmark of the Christian faith. Even when faced with seemingly insurmountable challenges, we are called to persevere in our faith and trust in God's promises. The journey may be difficult, and we may stumble along the way, but God promises to be our strength and support. By clinging to Him in faith, we can overcome obstacles and emerge victorious on the other side. As believers, we have the incredible privilege of rejoicing in the promise of no more tears. Despite the trials and tribulations we face in this world, we can take heart in the knowledge that our suffering is temporary. A day is coming when God will make all things new, and we will dwell in His presence forevermore. This hope fills us with joy and gives us the strength to persevere through life's challenges. In the midst of our suffering, it can be challenging to maintain a spirit of gratitude. However, gratitude is a powerful weapon against despair. Even in the darkest of times, there is always something to be thankful for. A loving family, supportive friends, the beauty of nature, or the assurance of God's presence. By cultivating a heart of gratitude, we can shift our focus from our pain to the blessings that surround us, finding hope and encouragement in the midst of adversity. As we journey through life, may we find rest in the promises of God. His word is a source of comfort and strength, providing us with the assurance that we will not cry tears of pain and sorrow again. In times of trial, may we cling to His promises, trusting in His faithfulness to see us through. And may we live each day in the hope and anticipation of the fulfillment of His perfect plan. God's promise of no more tears is a beacon of hope in a world filled with suffering and sorrow. It reminds us that our pain is temporary and that a brighter future awaits us. As we navigate life's challenges, may we find meaning in our suffering, seek support from our community, and trust in God's perfect timing. And may we rejoice in the promise of no more tears, living each day in gratitude and anticipation of the glorious future that awaits us. In the face of overwhelming pain and sorrow, holding on to hope can be a challenging but essential practice. Hope is the belief that better days are ahead, even when our current circumstances seem bleak. As believers, our hope is anchored in the promises of God, who has assured us that He will wipe away every tear from our eyes. This hope sustains us through the darkest of nights, reminding us that joy comes in the morning. While our earthly troubles may seem insurmountable at times, we can find hope in the knowledge that God is working all things together for our good. He is able to redeem even the most painful experiences and use them for His glory. As we hold on to hope, we can face the future with courage and confidence, knowing that God is faithful to fulfill His promises. Thank you for joining us on this journey of exploring God's promise of comfort and hope in times of pain and sorrow. We've delved deep into the transformative power of faith, compassion, forgiveness, resilience, and gratitude. As we conclude, remember that you are not alone in your struggles, and there is always hope for a brighter tomorrow. If you found this video inspiring and helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more uplifting content. Let's continue to spread the message of love, hope, and healing to those who need it most. Until next time, may you find strength in God's promises and peace in His presence. Take care, and God bless.